you feeling? With the ankle and the injury.
Oh, I'm good, man. It's all a work in progress. Getting better day by day, and we're gonna see how we feel at the end of the week.
You feel pretty good about playing Sunday, or is it?
Oh yeah. No, I feel real good. Like I said, man, it's just a work in progress. It's a work in progress.
Obviously, you made the Pro Bowl. I'm sure it was a big moment for you. How did you kind of react when you got the news?
Coach them actually called me right before the game, and I'm like, I was sitting at home watching the TV, and I see my phone. I'm like, why is Coach like FaceTiming me? Like it wasn't a regular call, it was a FaceTime. And then when I answered, it was Coach Neves, Coach Smith, and Coach Gus all in the camera, and he was just like, I just wanted to call you, let you hear from us first. You made the Pro Bowl. And just like my eyes just opened up, I was just like, oh, I ain't say what I wanted to say, but, I was just like, oh, I don't know. It still hasn't hit me yet, but it's a good feeling though.
What does it mean to you?
To be recognized by, like my peers and stuff like that, that I'm, I don't know. Like I said, it still hasn't hit me. It means a lot. Not too many people, get that selection, no matter how many votes you have, no matter who you are, but. Right now, it means a lot. I've been in the league 7 years. My first time ever being selected or even in the ballot.
Denzel, a lot of times, all of us try to play it off like, oh, it doesn't mean that's. No, it wouldn't mean anything. But then when something like this does happen, it does mean something.
Yeah.
You realize that it does.
Yeah, that's what I said. It means something. Everybody work hard. You don't just work hard to get selected for the Pro Bowl. You get the big ring, but it's definitely like I said, it's something that I feel great about. It's an honor.
You guys have 3 games left.
I cannot breathe.
And if you win out, you're going to put yourself in a really good position to do some special things.
Mm-hmm.
Is this kind of what the season's all about? When you get to this point, you got something to play for, and you see that finish line, and knowing that if you get through the finish line, there's big things waiting on the other side.
Man, we all know in this game, it's not about how you start, it's about how you finish. And like you said right now, we went out these 3 games. There's a chance, and that's the goal. To be 1-0 every week. Was 1-0 this past week, and what Coach always says, better feeling than being 1-0 is 2-0. So that's the mindset. That's the goal.
How hard has it been these past few games just to watch at home and not be able to be on the playing field?
Yeah, I don't think anybody wants to sit at home and watch. Just my history in general, just being injured, not playing a full season, like that kind of, irks me a little bit. But at the same time, man, it's football. Like I said, I'm getting better. So, not too much of a frustration, but it's a great frustration not being out there, period.
Are you somebody that yells and screams during the game at all? Or?
It all depends. It all depends on the situation, but 9 times out of 10, I'm yelling. And it ain't nice at all.
Since you've been out, we've seen Devon Diablo really kind of step up and kind of feel that presence at linebacker. What kind of growth have you seen from him from when you first joined the team?
Shout out to the ACC first and foremost. He's an ACC guy, even though he is a Hokie. But Diablo, man, he's coming too. And, everybody sees it. He's out there making plays. He's a quiet one. Like, even on the field, he's a quiet one. But, like I said, he's making plays. And, his road just changed. In this profession, you got to have that next man up mentality. And when his number was called, he ain't disappointing nobody right now.
Go back to watching the game on TV. Were you able to take mental reps or are you?
Oh yeah, sometimes when the play get busted, you kind of if they show the replay or right before the play, you kind of just remember the game plan throughout the week. Like I said, I'm sitting there in the meeting, so I'm still tuned in mentally. So you can tell if somebody messed up, what the call was, and that's how I basically watch the game.
You guys all set? Sweet, nice.
All right, thank you, man.
Go ahead, cool. Derek and AJ are down the way.
It's Christmas. It's Christmas.
Hondo.
All right, guys.
Derek, I don't know if you remember, but last year after you guys beat the Broncos last game of the season, afterwards you kind of wasn't necessarily a mandate, but you said that, hey, from this point forward, we're going to be talking about finishing practices, reps, finish is basically what you said.
Yeah.
Was that kind of pointing to a moment like this right now where you got 3 games left to play and finishing is paramount, is critical?
Yeah, absolutely. I think it goes back to the importance of last week's win too, and that's why all along, we've been through some things and as a team, and it's been a little adversity, but we keep coming to work, we keep working, and that's why I keep believing in our team, because the leadership and the guys that we have in the locker room. And when I reference finishing, and I also referenced we're going to find out who really wants to be a Raider, and we got some guys that love being Raiders, and have really embraced that. Some new guys even that have embraced that. Some guys that have been here that really have actually embraced it now, and I think that with that said, it leads to us playing meaningful games in December, and that's why you work so hard in the off season. That's why you put all the time in, and the times we're away from our families and things like that. This is why you do that, and to be able to have a chance to get in and all those kind of things. But none of that matters unless we beat the Broncos. And so again, it's a great opportunity, for our team, for our organization, among everything that's happened, that we're still in it.
Sometimes a win like that in Cleveland, it could be like a shot of just adrenaline, or just do you feel like knowing now what is at stake, what is possible, there's a little bit of extra juice running around the building a little bit?
Yeah, I think it helped our confidence. Not saying that we were lacking any, but you got to win games. You put so much work in, and it's one of those moments where it's like, here we go. There's a lot on the line those last 3 minutes. And for our defense to get that stop, and for our offense to be able to go down there and Daniel to make that kick, I mean, it says a lot about our team, and the will and the desire to win. And again, like I said, it doesn't have to be pretty. The only thing that matters is that we won. And when we did that, I wouldn't say it was a sense of relief, but it was a sense of like, okay, let's go now. Like that's what we've been expecting, and that's what we should do. So hopefully it jumpstarts us, and this is the time to get hot. And so hopefully it'll be our time this year.
Derek, after the Broncos traded away Von Miller, I think we all kind of expected their defense to take a step back, and it hasn't really been the case. Just from what you've seen so far, why do you think the defense has continued to play at a high level?
Yeah, I try and tell people sometimes, when I talk to them, like, yes, you lose one of the best pass rushers to ever play a game. I've talked about Von so many times, you guys know how I feel about him. He knows how I feel about him. But the guys behind him are also professionals, and they work their butts off every week, to become better football players. And they know, as Von, was getting older, and they're talking about trading him and all that. Well, they know that their time was coming, so, they got some really good football players, on that side of the ball and at those positions. And they always have. If you look back a couple of years, they had, Shaq was there. Shane Ray was, top pick. They've had DeMarcus Ware, they've had Vaughn, they've always had a lot of guys that could rush, from those spots. And so now they got Chubb, and they got other guys, and Reed, and all these guys that can all be effective in getting to the passer. And with that, they have a great scheme. Their defense is very difficult to go against. It's always a big challenge for us, and one you look forward to, but it's hard. When you lose a player of that caliber, can you replace a Von Miller? You can't replace a Von Miller. He's like an all-time great. But the guys playing for him, could they be, as productive someday and all those kinds of things? Yeah, I mean, they have the talent. They can go out there and do it. So I think the world of their pass rushers and their pass rush and what they do have.
Along those lines, we know, Fangio, a great defensive coach, the talent that they have on the defensive side of the ball. You guys have averaged 34 a game against them in the last 3 meetings, won all 3. Why have you had so much success against that team?
I don't know. When you watch those games, we've done everything. It sounds so cliche and so repetitive, but we did everything, the little things all right. We, our technique, our fundamentals, decisions, our eyes are in the right places. We're not having bad eyes and letting things sneak up on us and things like that. And it's hard to do against this defense, but it's what we have to do to be able to play well. And so. In the NFL, one thing I do know, the last game doesn't dictate the next game. We've proven that as a team, And so we may have had success before, but that means nothing this week. We have to go to work. We have to study. We have to prepare and be ready to play again, who I think is one of the best defenses in the NFL.
Derek, there's lots talked about learning to win on the road, a routine and all of that stuff, but you guys are 5-10 at home here at Allegiant Stadium.
Yeah.
Is there something to be said about figuring out ways to better prepare for home games?
Yeah, anytime you lose a game, you always reflect on your week. You reflect on, and you don't make drastic changes if it's something that's worked in the past, but you do look at things like, well, I think maybe I'm at home, I got this hour window here, I could, maybe fix this or do this and things like that. And you're always looking to do things better. We've played well on the road, we haven't played good enough at home. And, I think that looking at it from the last 2 seasons, last year was just weird. It was just like scrimmages. It wasn't like a home field advantage kind of thing or anything like that. It was just there's no one in the stands except Bob, and that's it. But this year, I think I've mentioned it before. I think the city is learning too that, hey, when we're on offense, that's the time to be quiet. Even if it's a big play, let's be as silent as possible because we have to hear every bit of communication, and things like that. But I think that they've gotten better at that too as the year's gone on. And two, we can play better. If you just go back to the details and how we've played, we can just be better at home. For whatever reason, why it's different, can't.
Do you think, a little false sense of security can sometimes be part of that, or letting your guard, you're at home, you feel like that the energy will come from the crowd?
Yeah, maybe, everything's on the table, you put it all out there, could that be it? It could also absolutely be it. But I think with what we have at stake, with where we're at in the season and all these kind of things, hopefully our guys are just mentally ready and, bring the energy how we should. We don't need to feed off the fans in here. Let's let the fans feed off our energy, kind of a thing, and let's give them something to be excited about and those kind of things because they deserve it, man.
You guys had some success running the football in Cleveland, especially on first down. That put you guys in a little better position for first, second, and third down. Can you talk about kind of getting that back, because it hasn't always been the case here in the last since the bye week?
Yeah, well, you could tell we were better on third down, and there was a couple third downs where we're a yard or half a yard short of having a couple more conversions, and all of those things, it matters. It all, with the pass rush that they had last week and all those kind of things, you got to be able to run the ball and. You don't want third and longs to let those guys pin their ears back, and you're waiting for these long developing routes to take place and all that kind of stuff. You got to pick and choose, and there's schematics in that. And so when we run the ball well, it helps. It helps me. It helps the line. Helps the backs. Helps the receivers, the tight ends. It just makes it easier when we can be balanced. And if we want to go where we want to go, we're going to have to be balanced. We're going to have to be able to do that.
Derek, you were pretty consistent last game with pushing the ball downfield, even though you guys weren't necessarily connecting on those.
Yep.
What kind of went into that shift? I know you've done that throughout the entire year, being aggressive. What went into that mindset shift of just being aggressive, obviously being smart with it, but pushing the ball down the field, regardless of what the result is?
Yeah, absolutely. It just depends. Again, depends on coverage, what play's called. You guys are saying. I think we're up there in the league. I don't know. I don't look at the stats, but we're up. We got to be up there in explosive plays, and big pass plays and things like that, because it has been emphasis. Especially when with what we had coming into training camp, and we knew what we were trying to do, and we've just kind of kept that mindset throughout the year. And some teams play things a little different, but we had some opportunities, some looks. We had some pass interference. Maybe another pass interference could have happened, and another big play could have happened. But I always talk to Kurt Warner about, I've talked to him for years after games and things like that, and he's always been able to help. But we've always talked about, when you stay aggressive, it opens up everything else. And whether you're hitting them or not, just the fact that they know you'll throw it, it only takes one play sometimes. And so really just trying to keep that, really the last couple of years, just keeping that mindset of when it's there, man, let's take that shot and let's do those things. Are we going to be perfect every time? No. The percentages on doing that in the NFL, it's not the highest percentage, right? But it does do something in the mindset of the coordinator and of the players that, hey, we will do this, even if it's not really open, we'll still take that chance, So just keeping that mindset, letting DBs know that, they got to cover every blade of grass, against us. And, hopefully that helps us as an offense with everything else underneath, intermediate. And, if they're thinking that, we can hit them over the top. That's good.
Along those lines, how much does the potential of a pass interference kind of play into that of like, hey, if you don't complete something, maybe you get some yards anyway?
Yeah, that's why when we were backed up, I kind of, I was really holding on to the ball and making sure I was clean in the pocket, and then I spun out of it, and I knew I was just going to launch it, down the field because, it's either going to be a long punt if they pick it, or really you're going to get a pass interference or a completion. And so, that was a perfect example of, I'm just going to go ahead and throw it, especially if the guy's not looking. I'm just going to go ahead and throw it. And we ended up getting a big play out of the pass interference and kept our drive alive last week. So it definitely, you see it all around the league, especially on third and long. A lot of people take shots. Sometimes if you have time, you want to take those shots, and you never know what's going to happen with those pass interference calls.
I know you guys have moved on from last week, but J.C. Treader was talking this morning, and he said basically the alternative to playing Monday was not playing at all and nobody getting paid. Did you have thoughts on that? Did you see that report? And just, I guess, how does that all play into everybody's kind of thought process going forward?
Yeah, honestly, I didn't see it. When it came to all that stuff, I just kind of went back into a new routine to get ready to play the game. I let all the people smarter than me figure those things out. But when it comes to not getting paid, we got Christmas gifts. I got a lot of kids now, so I got to pay for this Christmas. But I didn't pay attention to what he said. I'm sure they had meetings and all that kind of stuff. I was just focused on playing the game. Like at the end of the day, I was like, let's not cancel the game. Like, I don't care. Just let them all play. We'll figure it out. That's why we got shots, right? Just let us play the game. And that's basically what it's turned into now anyway, So it's kind of funny, how things work out when certain things begin to happen, especially towards the end of the year when the games are really, really important. So, it's a very interesting thing that hopefully they'll do a 30 for 30 on someday, because I'd like to watch that.
Kind of leads to my next question of what does Christmas look like when you have all the kids running around, but you have a game the next day, and also how'd the gingerbread house taste?
Yeah. Okay. So my wife won't let us eat them yet. That's one. She has made sure she told me and the kids, which maybe not be a bad thing. But our house is it's such a fun time because there's no touchdown, there's no win that compares to my little boys and my little girl waking me up, hopefully a little bit later than usual. Hopefully a little bit later. Hopefully let the sun come up. But them waking me up and just being able to bless them with some gifts and just see their face light up. And one thing that my wife does a great job of, and with my boys, is we give them some money here and there when they help with the dog or they do these things. So they ended up buying presents for me and my wife and for each other. So they're learning how to give back to people and how to make someone else's day and things like that. And I think it's a cool thing just as a dad to watch that develop and how excited they are to, like, Dad, can you open this one today? I'm like, you gotta ask your mom. I'll let you open them all today, But yeah, we have a good time.
Couple of days removed from Monday, any residual soreness on your ankle after being slow to get up?
Yeah, yes, really everywhere, if I'm honest. But nothing out of the normal. I was able to do everything that we needed to do today, and I'll be full all week. But yeah, and that's everybody. I mean, you're dealing with everything. At this point of the year, if you don't feel something, then you may not be playing the game right. Everyone's feeling something, but I'm fine. I'll be okay.
All right, guys, thank you.
Yep, appreciate it. Merry Christmas, y'all.
Did you have an option to Hunter Renfro with the goal line? Was there a potential to pitch to him right there?
Him and I freestyled that. He looked at me and he didn't know if I wanted to pitch it, so
AJ, I know we asked you, kind of about your journey, and you got the extension, but kind of on top of that, making the Pro Bowl for the first time, was it another kind of reflective moment for you, kind of looking back at how you've grown so much?
Yeah, it's crazy. It's definitely not something, however many years ago I would have thought I would be here. Especially having to come to rookie minicamp and come on a tryout basis. It's just a cool journey. It's a cool experience. And I'm so thankful for everybody that's just helped me along the way, for the people in this organization for believing in me and sticking with me. And yeah, it's just it's a really cool, it's a really cool journey I've been on, and it's an awesome way to it's just cool. I don't know.
Max talked about learning right before the game. Is that when they told you too?
Yeah, I found out kind of right before the game started. It was funny because you gotta hear it, process it, and then just forget about it, focus on the game, and then after the game, I kind of rethought about it. But I kind of forgot about it completely during the game. But yeah, I'm glad I was able to do that, just because it's a lot, it's a cool thing to hear. And but it was awesome to go out there and get the win, and then kind of be able to celebrate the win and be able to celebrate that as well.
Well, I guess what was it like? How many phone calls and texts, and like what was the day like after the win?
Yeah, phone's been blowing up ever since. A lot of people reaching out, people that I haven't talked to in years from high school, everything like that. So the last couple of weeks have kind of been like that, from an extension all the way to here. So yeah, it's been really cool to hear from a lot of those people, a lot of people that might have lost touch with over the years, and that's kind of how life goes. But yeah, it was just really cool to hear from all those people that were really excited for me.
We talk a lot about the punting, obviously, but you know, you guys have had some pretty big field goal kicks this year, and you're a big part of that as well. I guess what has a game-winning kick like we saw this week, but also, you know, we've seen that a couple times this year. Like when you're a holder and you don't, you know, nobody notices unless you screw up, right? So it's got to be an interesting situation for you to be in, and these kicks that everybody knows Daniel's making, but it's also you holding them and catching the snap and everything.
Yeah, I always say that holding is like by far my favorite part of the job. Like, you know, after a touchdown, everybody's cheering, everybody's excited. People are, you know, high-fiving each other. There's cannons going off. The fans are cheering. You get to run onto the field, hold the kick, high-five everybody. Like, holding's awesome. And then when you get to go out there with a kicker like Daniel, who just consistently puts them through in big moments, it's so fun just getting to cheer him on and kind of just have a front row seat to what he's able to do week in and week out and put us in positions to win. And, you know, when I'm running on the field to punt, people aren't like going out of their way to like high five me. They're like, yeah, let's go. Like, you know, so it's kind of fun to be on the celebratory end of a football play.
Do you guys have discussions before a kick, or like especially a kick like that, a major kick, or you just leave them alone, or what's the mood?
Yeah, so really we just go through the exact same way we'd go through any other kick. I mean, there's no point in me saying like, hey, go make this. Like, you know, he knows. Like, there's nothing really I can say at that point. So we go through the same routine we'd go through in practice. He's giving me, you know, if there's something he wants a little different with the whole, talking about the win maybe, talking about whatever situations we need to, just discuss that real quick, and then just go through the operation. There's nothing really needs to be said. There's no point in making one kick to be more or less than it is. And I think that Daniel's done such a good job of treating every kick the same. And I think that's why he's been able to be really successful in those big moments.
It seemed like the snap on the second attempt, the game winner, actually kind of came up on you a little bit. Was that a tricky one to handle and get down quickly with the laces turned?
Yeah, I mean, the laces were great on it. And sometimes that happens, you know, it's just a quick play. It's bang, bang. And, you know, sometimes the ball's a little high. Sometimes I don't kick the ball where I'm supposed to. You know, bumper says, stuff happens. And so, you know, we're going to go out there and it's my job to make everybody right. And so, you know, it's just that's kind of football, you know. Sometimes Derek's ball's a little out in front, receivers got to go make the play. It's just, you know, nobody's ever going to be perfect every time.
How excited are you to be indoors here for these final 3 regular season games where weather's not going to be a factor?
Yeah, playing indoors is great. Playing outside's fun in a different way. It's a different challenge. It gives you something new to focus on, new to think about. Sometimes the wind is at your advantage, sometimes it's at your disadvantage. So it doesn't really change the way I approach the week or anything. I love playing in our stadium. I mean, playing indoors is awesome. It's just one less thing you have to kind of focus on. But playing outside is fun in a different way and a different challenge. And winning in those cold weather, windy kind of stadiums is really, really fun. And it's really exciting in the locker room kind of when you finally get back to being warm. Yeah, so you know, winning a cold weather game and a windy game is a lot of fun too. But yeah, I mean, playing in our facility is as good as it gets.
They keep taking opportunities away from you with these fake punts lately. Are you lobbying to get a pass, or what's that discussion like?
No, I love fake punts, man. It's so fun to go out there, just to sit back and watch Dallin just go run for first down. You know, as far as if I'm lobbying to keep the fake pass, we got to keep some stuff in house.
You can throw though, right?
Yeah, I can throw. I got a cannon. I was third string quarterback in 7th grade. We ran the triple option, but I was kind of like the deep threat guy. So yeah, I got a cannon.
What's the challenge when Daniel goes out and makes that kick the first time around, only to find out they called a timeout and you got to go do it again?
Yeah, it's something we work on actually every week. So we go through kind of on Fridays, we go through a mock script for Daniel. We move the ball around. We'll simulate it like a game. So me, Trent, Daniel, we start on the sidelines. We don't go through with the whole team because they're doing all their, you know, stuff obviously. But we run onto the field. We say, okay, ball's on the 28-yard line, left hash. We go out there. We get the spot, go through the play, run the kick. And we'll get pretty much every week, we'll get one where there's like a mock timeout. So coach will blow the whistle, like right as the ball snapped, kick it, and then we kind of got to go through the process of like, okay, what are you going to do? Are you going to go get water? Are you going to go back to the sideline? Are you going to swing your leg a couple times? So by the time we get to the game, we've actually done it a lot, which I think sometimes it sounds almost silly to practice stuff like that, but I think it really matters. I think you really put yourself in that game mindset if you take it seriously, which we do. And so when we get in the game, it's like something we do every Friday. It's not something new. It's not like, oh, wait, where do I go? Where do I stand? Like, we kind of got the routine down, and we can just treat it like a practice.
Did you see all the jokes when Russell Wilson was doing that? Like when Russell Wilson was hurt and he was kind of going through like game scenarios on the field, like everybody on social media had a great time with it. But like, did you kind of relate to it, or did you not even?
Well, he was just like going through like a script, kind of.
Go through like he would be on the field like going through a fake huddle, like protect because he had a hand injury so he couldn't throw.
Oh, so he's like going through like some plays like on the field. Yeah, no, I think that's real. I think that's legit, and I think that like it's not real if you don't take it to be real. But I think with anything, like if you think it's helping you and you think it's working and you think it's applicable, it is. And so I think taking that seriously for us has been really important. Yeah, like going through that mock strip, we do that in the off season. So like during, when we were at like peak COVID and we're going through, me and Daniel just going on the field, kicking by ourselves a lot of times, we'd go through and we'd give each other situations. So Daniel would be like, all right, like it's 3rd down and 7, like offense is trying to get the ball. We're going into the wind right now. It's a minute and a half left. We're in Arrowhead, punt to the Chiefs. Like, all right, we got to go punt the ball. Like, what are you going to do? And then I'm giving him the same situation, like tie game, we're playing the Bears. Like here it is, like we doing situations like that. And like, for some people, maybe that's not some people might not consider that applicable, but for us, like it definitely matters. And it definitely just puts yourself, you got to go through the thought process. You got to go through like, okay, I'm in this situation against this team. Like, what would I do? And so, yeah, I think that if that's something that you think is helping you, I think it's great. I mean, putting yourself in that game mindset, the visualization, I believe in all that stuff.
Very importantly, what is the best Christmas movie?
The best Christmas, I would say Die Hard, and it's kind of like cliche. It became cliche to say that. That Die Hard's like the best Christmas movie, so I kind of hate that. Like, I feel like I was like too early for my time on that one because I've been saying that. Like, me and my family watch Die Hard. We go to church on Christmas Eve. We come home. We watch Die Hard. We've been doing it every year for like a long time, and then at some point, like the mainstream caught up with us. I think we were the trendsetters. I don't know, but yeah, everybody kind of caught up. Some special nominations. Grinch is great, obviously. Elf is awesome with Will Ferrell. Yeah, all those movies are really good. Christmas Story on Christmas Day, Ralph, You Shoot Your Eye Out. Like, that's a great one as well. So many good Christmas films.
So the Christmas Story house was very close to the stadium in Cleveland.
Oh, is it?
It's like a huge tourist attraction.
Really?
Yeah, we went there on Saturday.
Oh, did you? Did you see like all the, like, is it still in the same condition or what?
There's like 1,000 people there. It's like a massive thing.
Really? That's kind of cool. I'd like to go do that. Maybe we'll play there next year. We'll go do our walkthrough in the Christmas Story house's lot.
That's good. You were talking about the relationship with you and Daniel. Like, I guess it's hard to imagine, but how hard would it be to have somebody you didn't like, as the punter? Like somebody you don't get along with, you're together all the time. It's got to be a weird situation if you don't like somebody.
Yeah, it would be terrible. Like, it's just like anything. Like, if you had to work with someone that sucks, like, your job sucks. Like, that's just how it is. And so it's awesome that we have such a good relationship and get to hang out together. But, yeah, we spend so much time together. Like, I mean, hours upon hours upon hours. We're sitting in here. We're in meetings. We're out of meetings. We're having breakfast, having lunch, like all that stuff. Like, if I'd have all those conversations with someone I didn't like, I don't know how long I could fake it. At some point, I'd just be like, hey, man, maybe we should just eat in different tables and just show up and work together. But yeah, it's awesome. Like getting to work with him and getting to work with Trent and like all the guys on the team. We have a really cool locker room just in general. We really like each other. We have fun on the flights on the way there, on the way home. Like we play games, we socialize. Like it's not one of those teams where everybody just puts their headphones in and goes about their business. Like we really like each other.
Okay, all set? Thank you, Adrian.
Okay, thanks guys.
Solid alternate logo.